Hey Eagles fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into the Eagles Report, and today, the latest trade news revolving Yannick Ngakoue, Alshon Jeffery, and Justin Jefferson. We're going to go ahead and jump right in, starting with Yannick Ngakoue and how the Eagles were once linked to him, and now, according to ESPN, they seem to be the team that is falling away from having a chance to go ahead and trade for Yannick Ngakoue. So we know that Yannick has been linked to Philadelphia all season long. We've talked about it here on the channel, how basically he's been tweeting pictures of famous Eagles on his Twitter page, on his Instagram handle. It seems like if he could go anywhere in the NFL, Yannick would pick the Eagles. So all of us were saying, oh, well, would you give up number 21 overall? Could you package a second-round pick and Alshon Jeffery? We tried to make all these different trade suggestions on how you can go ahead and get Yannick, and then ESPN's Adam Schefter comes up just the other day and basically crushes all of our dreams in terms of getting Yannick Ngakoue. Now, we've talked about me not wanting to trade number 21 overall for Yannick, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But let's go ahead and start with Adam Schefter the other day talking about Yannick Ngakoue and the trade. He said, quote, "I don't think the Eagles are the favorite in that group at all." Pause here. He mentioned other teams being Washington, Seattle. I think he mentioned there was one more big team in there that I'm blanking on right now. The Jets and Giants also have a lot of cap space. Either way, that's the teams he's talking about. Continue on, quote, "I think more likely than not, those other teams, for various reasons, picks, compensation, money, draft position, stand a better chance of landing Yannick than the Eagles. I view the Eagles on the outside looking in of Yannick Ngakoue. That's not to say they couldn't get something done, because there's always a possibility with them, but he thinks they're on the outside looking in," to go ahead and end that quote, which we kind of got to dive into here. Adam Schefter, obviously from ESPN, knows more than you and me. He's one of the most plugged-in guys on the planet in terms of NFL news, and what he's talking about here is picks, compensation, and money. Philadelphia has a decent amount of picks. They don't have as many picks as other teams. There are a lot of other teams in the National Football League that have a lot more firepower and are higher up in the draft, to where if you wanted to give number 21 overall, well, what if Cleveland wants to give number 10 overall to go ahead and trade for him? Like, they could do that, and that would be a better offer than Philadelphia. So it feels like the Eagles' starting defensive line is going to remain the same as what we expected after signing Javon Hargrave in free agency. You'll see Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Hargrave, Brandon Graham will be your starting front four in that 4-3 defense. You'll mix in Malik Jackson, obviously, coming filling in the defensive tackle spot, but that will most likely be your starting defensive line for Philadelphia going forward. And I'm going to say this: I want to keep number 21 overall. I've said it many times. Yannick is great, but you got to give Carson Wentz a wide receiver. We know how bad the wide receiver core was for Carson Wentz last year. We know how great Yannick Ngakoue was last year. Would he be a great addition for the team? Yes, but I think Philadelphia is set on drafting a wide receiver. We're going to talk about that in a second. I think they have got to go ahead and get Carson Wentz a future weapon, a future star on the outside, instead of just adding another pass rusher who, yeah, will be good, but it's not going to be as helpful to Carson Wentz, I would say, as a wide receiver would be. I know sacks can help a quarterback on a different way in terms of defense, but still, I'd like to keep number 21 overall, and the fact the Eagles are out on Yannick, according to Adam Schefter, to me, is some good news for us here on a Wednesday. Okay, quick ad break here on YouTube. Don't worry about the ad. Go ahead and scroll down. Answer the pinned comment here. Should the Eagles trade for Yannick? I know a lot of you guys are torn on this. I would not. Maybe you would. If you think they should, let me know in the pinned comment down below. All right, moving on. We talked about Justin Jefferson a little bit at the very beginning of the show, and we wanted to update you guys on the fact that it feels like Justin Jefferson is the surefire pick here at number 21 overall. All the mock drafts are starting to mock us to have Justin Jefferson, and even Bleacher Report has some insider news on Justin Jefferson we'll get to here in a second. But obviously, we sit there at number 21 overall. Almost every single mock has projected us to take a wide receiver. They flip-flopped on T. Higgins, and then it was Chenault, and then it was Henry Ruggs. Now it seems to be Justin Jefferson or Jalen Reagor are the two most likely mock players for Philadelphia, and yet most people are saying Jefferson will be a lock at number 21, and I said overall, I think it was like last week, I would take Justin Jefferson over Henry Ruggs, but that, of course, is just me. Bleacher Report draft expert Matt Miller had this to say about Justin Jefferson. It's kind of an interesting quote. Pay attention to this one. Let's throw it up on the screen. This feels like, just go ahead and put that one or this one in ink, because when I write a mock draft the way I do it, picks that I've heard are going to happen, I submit them in and then work around them. So, Derek Brown at 8, Justin Jefferson at number 21. So, he didn't mention Philadelphia at all, right? Well, if you actually dive into it, he says, picks that I've heard are going to happen. Later on, Justin Jefferson at number 21. Obviously, that is Philadelphia. So Justin Jefferson, again, these are draft experts. These are people who are hearing stuff from inside organizations. It feels like if Jefferson is there, very real possibility he will be, because Lamb and Ruggs and Judy will all probably not be there. It will be Justin Jefferson, the LSU wide receiver, for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I did some digging on Justin Jefferson to find his NFL player comparison, who he most likely projects to become, and most people said Keenan Allen, the wide receiver out of the LA Chargers. So, throw up a little comparison here right now. Justin Jefferson versus Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen 6'2", Justin Jefferson 6'3". Keenan Allen a little bit bigger at 211. Jefferson only 192, but both of them in their, I guess, final season at LSU and then rookie year with the LA Chargers had over 1,000 yards receiving. They say Jefferson is an inside guy who is leagues better than Nelson Aguilar, but can also play on the outside. And that's kind of what Keenan Allen does. Allen plays on the outside, but they move him around there up with the Chargers into the slot, trying to get him mismatches, and he's been a big-time threat for Phillip Rivers when he was there, and will be for, I guess, Tyrod Taylor going forward for the LA Chargers. But a good player comp is Keenan Allen, and if he turns out to be Keenan Allen, I think Philadelphia has a home run pick at number 21 overall. Keenan Allen is not Julio Jones. Keenan Allen is not OBJ. He's not DeAndre Hopkins. He's not considered one of the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL, but he's still a tier 1 wide receiver. He's still a number 1 overall wide receiver on his team, and that's something Philadelphia has lacked for a very long time. Alshon Jeffery was the number 1 in 2017, but that was basically it. He's been injury plagued. He's been kind of up and down in terms of his production. The Eagles have not had a true number 1 wide receiver since the first year of Alshon Jeffery, and that's a long time ago now, as the Super Bowl as well in the past. You've got to get a number 1 guy, and this is the guy to go ahead and get. Obviously, we talked about the other wide receivers in this draft. I would take Lamb. I would take Judy over Justin Jefferson. Most people have Henry Ruggs as the 3rd best receiver, but I would take Jefferson over Henry Ruggs. I've been doing my research. I know I said Ruggs earlier. I think I'm going to switch over right now. My final pick, right? Lock it in, as they used to say on the old game show, will be Justin Jefferson at number 21 overall. A guy who balled out last year at LSU. We know how great he was. 18 touchdowns, 111 catches, Joe Burrow throwing him the ball. Well, now it's going to be Carson Wentz, hopefully, and I think his production will remain the same, and they're going to utilize a lot of the routes and a lot of the concepts that they did at LSU to make Justin Jefferson successful in Philadelphia. Before we keep going, be sure to subscribe to the Eagles Report. We're really close to 7,000 subs here on the channel, and we're trying to grow that here as fast as possible. So, if you are not a subscriber, go ahead and click the red subscribe button. Also, click the notification bell. That way you're notified whenever we go ahead and release new videos. We do live stuff here. It is the most comprehensive, all-inclusive Eagle channel on the platform. I guarantee you that. If you don't believe me, watch some of the older videos and subscribe as well. We greatly appreciate it. Final bit of news here. A lot of you guys probably came for this bit of news. We say saved it for last, best for last, as they say. Is an update on Alshon Jeffery in terms of what the Eagles are trying to do in trading or cutting him. So trade rumors have continued to swirl around Alshon Jeffery. He's been critical of Wentz. Most people are convinced that he was the anonymous locker room source who wanted to go ahead and rip Carson Wentz just a couple of years ago. The report is the Eagles have been trying to trade him, but we found out via Jeff McClain of the Philadelphia Inquirer how long ago they started trying to trade him. This is interesting. Quote, "It didn't take long before Howie Roseman realized that he had made a mistake when he guaranteed Alshon Jeffery's salary for the 2020 season just before last season. The Eagles GM began actively shopping Jeffery about a month later," NFL sources told the Inquirer. As the wide receiver's production waned, his injuries mounted, and he became implicated as the anonymous source behind disparaging comments about the team to ESPN. A lot to unpack here. Let me just go ahead and break this all down. So Howie Roseman gave a ton of guaranteed money to Alshon Jeffery when he signed him to that extension just before last season. And everyone was like, okay, this is good, but he's also going to be over 30. Can he stay healthy? And turns out it was not a good contract, and that's why we can't really trade him, because he has so much guaranteed money. So apparently Roseman's been trying to shop him as early as a month before last season, which is probably why Jeffery knew about it and then decided to go ahead and run his mouth against the team, because he was unhappy with the way that Howie Roseman handled his own case, his own trade prospects. The big takeaway, though, is that no one wanted to trade for him. So it's not like the Eagles have been trying to trade him for the past month and there are no buyers because of how great the NFL draft is for wide receivers. No. They've been trying to trade him for literally a year plus and have been unable to do so, which basically tells you there is no way a team is going to take Alshon Jeffery off of our hands. The most likely option here is to cut Alshon Jeffery, which we've talked about, saves no cap space, and creates $15+ million in dead money. But if you want to remove a locker room cancer, which many people consider him to be, from your team, then a cut is most likely what is going to happen. The Eagles wide receiver depth chart, minus Alshon Jeffery, we know is bleak. You have aging Deshaun Jackson, you have bright spot Greg Ward and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and then Robert Davis, but that's not a very good four-ship in terms of wide receivers to put around Carson Wentz, which is why they will draft somebody, whether it's at number 21 or they'll get someone in the second round. They will add to this, but my guess is Alshon Jeffery will not be on the team in 2020 because they've been trying to trade him. Eventually, Roseman will become so frustrated he will just go ahead and cut him. He will eat the dead cap space money and say, listen, we are better off without Alshon, minus the fact we're losing $15 million for a guy who has been injured in the past and did not play a lot in 2019. His numbers have slacked, and if he's jawing off about Carson Wentz behind his back and not producing, there really is not a point to go ahead and keep him on, especially if the Eagles are going to be okay despite losing a lot of money in dead cap space. What do you guys think? Should the Eagles cut Alshon Jeffery? Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. I think most of us are going to say yes, but there are probably some who says no, keep him, he'll play, he'll be fine. I mean, maybe. But can you guarantee me, Alshon, looking at you, Alshon, can you guarantee me you won't run your mouth next year if the ball's not coming your way and it's going to Justin Jefferson instead? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the coming days and weeks here, if the Eagles are going to cut him, if they're going to trade him, if they're going to wait for the post-June 1st cut, if they're going to do the NFL draft. Who knows? But at least we know now Philadelphia was trying to do this well before what we thought they were doing in terms of this past year. Get him out of here. I mean, get Alshon Jeffery off of the Eagles. I've been hopefully behind that movement for a very, very long time. There you go. All the time we have for today for the Eagles Report. Plenty of new videos in the upcoming days and weeks. Be sure to subscribe. The Eagles Report, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.